Welcome to the line, where I think our the meaning of this podcast has taken a slight shift. Where
You mean the line has drifted?
the line has drifted. Where I think the line, when we started this podcast, it was pretty clear. Like, we wanted to see where people were using AI in their lives and where they felt like it needed to be a human endeavor, not an AI task, right? And I feel like it's shifted a tiny bit to be like, we really are talking about an AI ethics in real time.
Oh, I was going to say, you don't think that's what we're doing, but I guess it is.
I just think it's gotten a little broader than our original plan, in a good way, like in a phenomenological way. This is how it goes.
Yeah, I feel like we're following something. I feel like
Yes.
we started with the question, and we're following the question where it takes us, which is parallel to what we're interested in.
Right. With a little bit of a self-study also, because you and I are watching our lines constantly.
Yeah,
drift.
well, like actively working through it. You know, in my day job, in my work with your colleagues and other students, we're all the time bumping into, is this okay? Mm-hmm. Is this, can I do it in this way? I've had a couple more open conversations about that with folks in the past couple weeks. I've had 2 folks who just defended their dissertations that are on this topic, right? That are on AI in different contexts, but in education, but in different contexts.
This brings me to my rant, Matthew. This brings me to my rant. And my rant is against you and higher education faculty. Fair. Specifically, it is against the demon known as Turnitin.
And Turnitin, yes, but also any of a checker or a...
If you are someone who is in any kind of higher education situation right now, and you are turning in your papers through Turnitin or any kind of checker, it checks for plagiarism. That's kind of been standard. That's how it was when I was an undergrad. It checked for plagiarism, quote unquote. Now it checks for AI.
Well, again,
Matthew, let me tell you what happened.
Yeah, tell me.
Fortunately, this happened with a professor who I think is very understanding and is willing to have a conversation.
Mm-hmm. Which is, I think, where you have to start with these.
Yes. Yep. My last 2 papers, 2 critical policy analysis papers for this class, came back as 90% and 100% AI generated.
Oh, sorry. I know when you first told me this, I just laughed. I know, which is not how you wanted me to respond, but that's how I responded.
Oh my goodness. I just laughed. And it was one of those, like, I got up to walk out of the classroom, and Kyle said, Sean, can I talk to you for a second? And I was just like, oh no. He pulled me over and he showed me, he goes, look, I don't think this is true. I just want you to see it. And he showed me the Turnitin view on his end. Literally the entire paper highlighted 100% AI generated.
Yeah.
I just had to laugh. So I was like, here's my typical, here's the thing with me. And maybe it's one of my lines. Yeah. I take a ton of pride in my own work, in my writing, in my skill as a writer. I think I'm a really good writer. I take a lot of pride in that. And because of that, I've never really truly written something with AI. I've written things with AI as a thinking partner. I've had AI, I've had Claude, sort of give me peer feedback. I've taken a paper and a rubric and uploaded them both together and said, what did I miss? Or what points could I be getting that I'm not getting right now? But I have never had Claude or anything else actually write a paper for me to submit. Fortunately, Kyle, my professor, he knows that. He knows my writing style. He knows all those things. But I will say I went home thankful that it was Kyle, for one, because if it was another professor, this is a different conversation.
It could have gone differently.
A very different conversation. And I'm thinking about all of these poor undergrads or young grad students who have written a paper. They've put all the time and energy into it. It's an excellent paper. They turn it in. It gets marked as AI, and some non-understanding professor says, you got to rewrite it, or that's an automatic 0, or worse, we're going to some sort of disciplinary action or something like that. And it just like, that makes me feel a certain way. And I came back home, I went to Claude, I uploaded the papers to Claude and said, why did these get flagged as AI? And Claude was interesting. It said, you have a very, like, I have an academic rhythm. I think the things that an AI detector is looking for is really, really solid academic writing. Almost like I was too good of a writer.
I was gonna say, if it's too good.
If it's too good. And I can just see how, like I said, it just made me think about all these poor kids who are facing disciplinary action or who are rewriting papers because this AI detector just like thought it was AI. And I think it's also interesting to say that professors are relying on an AI tool to tell if a paper is AI written.
Yeah, it's very troubling.
Yeah. And so anyway, my rant is that these AI detectors are a load of crap.
Bunk.
And
they're bunk.
They're bunk. And for it to cause disciplinary things or to have people have to rewrite papers or something is, it's absurd to me. It's absurd. And it's proven by the fact that, and here's how we know that Instagram is listening to all the things. My entire algorithm right now is all just like grad students talking about how much they hate Turnitin and AI detectors. So.
I think the whole thing plays on the deepest of our thing, the whole want for something like a Turnitin, or pick your poison, plays on the fears of faculty, instructors, professors, because it taps into, we wrote about this on the Peaks, or I wrote about it on the Peaks a while ago, that touches the core of the identity of the university. And people want a very easy solution for a not easy challenge. And the irony, like you just said, is the treating of the AI as its own checker, which is...
It's a weird feedback loop.
It's a very weird feedback loop. And people want... I think this is a fact, I could say it is true. People want an easy yes, no. They want a scale. They want this turned green. It means it's good. It's okay. I think maybe there was like a day where that might have been true about 5 years ago, but things, AI has moved on. Yeah. I'll tell you, I'll give you two things that are jumping to mind. One is, and we should look this up, see if this is a thing. 'Tis the season. Everybody, faculty are going through and grading papers. And probably because of you and our connection with this conversation, I had another professor who was grading undergrad essays. And this professor went on Instagram, on whatever, recorded a reel, and listed out her like 3 or 4 things that she knows will indicate that you used AI. And the thing that I immediately thought, do you know what I immediately thought?
But those are all things that I use in my writing all the time.
No, I was going to say, I actually thought, well, you know what, my friend, my colleague at another university, if I was a smart student, I would have written down the 4 things she said and gone back to my AI and said, hey,
don't use these.
Don't do these things. And it was like, because that's what I'm saying. There's a disconnect. Not that I'm encouraging people to cheat, but like, we are having that, you bump into a problem or a challenge, and it's not a challenge so much as now you have to rethink.
Yeah.
It becomes the next step in the iteration in the process. People haven't realized. That's number one. Number two, that I thought of. The number 2 is Jess Taraborrelli, who was our first, I'm so sorry, Dr. Jess Taraborrelli, who was our very first guest that we talked to. Not on video, it was just when we had audio. Defended her dissertation this week. And if y'all remember, her dissertation was on policy, classroom policies, and AI. And the phenomenon that you described that happened for you, Sean, is affirmed in her data and in her data analysis. I mean, there is a spectrum of undergraduates using AI in many different ways. And there's everything from students, undergrads, who are like, no, I don't want any part of this. Like I don't want AI. I don't want to touch it. I don't want that. All the way to, like you just said, people who are experiencing incredible anxiety, keeping multiple drafts of all of their iterations of their papers, and then even in some cases dumbing down their writing.
Right.
So that it doesn't show up
spelling and grammar errors. Yeah.
So that, which is like, hold on, like there's a glitch in the matrix. Like, hold on. if right. But again, this comes back to go back to the social constructionist, where you can actively day by day see humans trying to figure out what to do with this.
Right.
I just don't think a big magic box that you say, is this or is this not, is the right answer.
Yeah.
That's not the right answer to the question.
Yeah.
I don't.
I hope that any professors who are listening to this conversation, I hope that you take a second and look at the tool and see if it's really doing what it is that you want it to do. And like I said, I was fortunate that it happened with a professor who I think understands and has some knowledge of AI. But I could just see this, tearing a student apart.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes.
And I think the other, to sort of put a period or ellipses on this, the other piece of Dr. Drass's results are, in general, the kids are going to be okay. Like there's this fear that everybody's out there AIing everything.
Right.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot more of a line there than than people are worried about.
To introduce our guest today, because it's one of your doctoral dissertators.
It's another Jess.
Another Jess.
Another Jess who's also a doctor.
Jess.
A doctor.
Yeah.
Jess, I had two Jesses this year as one of my students, and this Dr. Jess Taraborrelli also studied AI, and we talk a little bit about this in our conversation, but Jess saw something in AI in a different kind of way years ago. She saw that this was going to be something even beyond the LLM space.
Yeah.
And again, I knew that she was going to be a really great conversation. She's really going to want to unpack some of these ideas, but from a different angle, which is exactly what we keep looking for. And that's why I think these conversations are interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great interview. I hope you all enjoy, and we will catch you on the other side.
Yeah. All right. Hey, everybody. I am so excited to get to talk to Jess today. I'm going to let you introduce yourself, Jess. But my connection with Jess, we've known each other for 3 years. Oh my gosh. I literally just recognized that right now in this moment. 3 years. We've gone from professor, student, instructor, student to advisor, dissertation advisor, advisee to now colleagues, because you are a doctor. But introduce yourself. I'm so glad you're here to meet with Sean. You know Sean a little bit, but to talk with us about AI, because this is what your research is about.
Yes, thanks for having me. My name's Jess Taraborrelli, and I am a school psychologist. And more importantly, I'm a mom of 2 little kids and recently defended my dissertation. So I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Jess, can you tell us a little bit about what your dissertation was about?
Yes. So my big long title of the dissertation was Educators' Perceptions of Artificial Intelligence Enabled Wearable Technologies to Support the Social, Emotional, and Behavioral Functioning of Neurodiverse Students. And long story short, it's just trying to see how educators are viewing this technology to support students beyond the academics on more of that social and emotional piece to kind of avoid these big behaviors.
And the thing that I want to just name, Jess, that you and I have sort of unpacked as you've been on the other side of, right, your journey.
Yes.
You now have more space to think about things, is you got into this topic early and you stuck with it. How did you know? I don't know. I don't want to whatever, Sean, but Jess can tell the future. like you knew way back when that this was a thing, right?
Yeah. Yes and no. I mean, to start the program, I was teacher efficacy. I am, I'm saying, a school psychologist. So I feel like not only am I supporting students, but I also hear like the venting board from teachers, like the burnout and what can we do? And this is not great, the environment, like that kind of thing. And so then early in the program, I was when I was actually kind of introduced into artificial intelligence and especially like the chats and things like that. And I kind of just stuck with it, played around with it a little bit. And I was like, this potential for the individualized piece is huge. And maybe this is the answer that we're like, that we need, because we have seen a shift, especially post COVID, on the increase in these social, emotional, behavioral. And that's my whole world. And so we have supports for the academic parts on the individualized piece, but what about the other pieces that is honestly consuming most of the day? The classroom management piece. So it just made sense to me, I think, because that was my everyday life. And the more that I was researching it, I mean, there were so many gaps and so much potential and opportunity that I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah. Do you remember doing, not to cut you off, Sean, because I know you're going to jump in, but Jess, do you remember like when we would do lit reviews 2 years ago and it'd be like, I'm not finding anything. It'd be like, yeah, because there's no research out there yet. And even to this day, like, yes, it feels like there's an explosion, but there's not nearly enough compared to where we're at. Right.
I even said that in my defense, because when I was doing the literature review, there were a couple studies in China where like the students would be wearing this headpiece to measure attention, especially like with the eye gaze and stuff like that. But that was like one of the only things that we really saw. We saw things in different fields, with like healthcare, medical, things like that.
Right,
but like
right.
nothing specific.
Not in education.
Right.
So can you share like some of the findings in your research? What I'm especially curious to hear, like what teachers are thinking about this.
So overall, the educators had positive views on the abilities of this technology. They really,
and it's not a real technology. I'm sorry, Jess. It's one you invented. You had the imagination to talk about.
Correct. So I presented two scenarios just to give a little bit of background, and they were standardized scenarios, two different situations, one with a student with autism, one with a student with ADHD, and it portrayed a situation where they were experiencing some increase in emotional dysregulation, which would lead to a behavioral or an emotional outburst. And it presented with the AI enabled wearable technology, what the potential possibilities could be, and then without, what the actual thing could be. So it could be like with the technology, they could be getting an alert to have a teacher come over and kind of calm them down, tell them to take a lap or whatever it is. And if there wasn't that technology, then we're seeing the desk flip, the tears, the crying, the eloping, things like that. So after the teachers or educators read the scenarios, they would answer a questionnaire and give like an open-ended response to the barriers. And I think that's important, because for as much potential as the educators were viewing, and as much as they're seeing this could be a tool to support the students, the biggest thing they thought would be to help the social piece, to help the students get through social situations, as opposed to like their self-awareness or their behavioral regulation. But they still do have some pretty big barriers that we kind of unpacked together as well.
Okay, so let's start talking about you, Jess. So what are some of the ways that you are using AI in your day to day, and what are you using?
Yeah, who's your go-to?
I have like a little toolkit. I know who do I need for what I need it for.
Oh, you got a team.
I have a team. Yeah. Yep. I have a team. So initially I was opened to this world on Notebook LM, and I was like, this is so excellent. This is so cool. And then I quickly learned about chat, and I just jumped full in with chat. And
chat was my first love too, Jeff.
Yeah.
So he was my first boyfriend.
Yeah. And I have started to more recently be in the Claude world, and
Dating Claude.
I love Claude too, but there's a different purpose for each thing that I'm trying to do. And I will get into that in a second, but I'm a school psychologist, like I've already said. And so we are a Microsoft school, and so Copilot is the one that we are like able to use to keep everything within, Yeah, I mean, same thing. It serves its purpose.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my first, but
I mean,
it's
someone has to be the worst, right? Like someone
Matthew
has
is
to be the
very,
worst.
very anti co-pilot over there.
Yeah.
I mean, I know, but I do get it. And in my personal life, like I mentioned, I'm a mom, so I've used it for everything under the sun, chat specifically, whether it's taking a picture of the food ingredients in my fridge and being like, what can I make for dinner tonight from these
No
things?
way.
Oh, yeah. To like, I know you're not supposed to like Google, but WebMD, you're typing in these symptoms and it's telling you that you have this, and this,
Mm-hmm.
right? So even if my kids are presenting with some like symptoms, I'm like, my son is a 2-year-old boy. He has this, and then it'll, like ask me different questions. And although it's not giving me a diagnosis, it's either easing my concerns or being like, no, you got to take him somewhere. And it is that individualized piece that I'm like, this is what sets it apart, because you can Google, and like I'm saying, you can be like, well, he either has the flu or he has COVID or he has, I don't know, chicken pox. And you're like, wait, what?
Slow down. Yeah.
That's a good point. Have you
made any coloring pages with ChatGPT yet? That's a favorite in our house.
I have made coloring pages. I've turned my pictures into like sketches. I've actually like had them printed and put them on my walls. Yeah. Like around Christmas time, I was taking pictures of them under the tree and things like that. And like totally making watercolor paintings out of this.
That's cute.
Decorated my house, took a picture of my room. What color should be on my wall? I mean, like I really do, because I definitely am more of a visual person. And so saving the time piece about it, like actually seeing it, I'd be like, yep, that's my answer. So
we love the coloring pages over here. My son loves to be able to say like, I want a coloring page of a monster truck that's shaped like a T-Rex, but he's on skates because he's playing hockey and he has a guitar in his hands. And so you can just type it in a chat and it comes up with the coloring pages. It's amazing.
And then you just print it out, Sean?
Print it out, and he goes wild with it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Jess is nodding like, yes, duh, Matthew, of course. I don't. This is new for me. Sean, you've also done, and I want to see if this aligns with Jess. I don't have children. I don't have kiddos here. Sean says that you have it. I don't know if you had to do chat or if it was Claude. Tell stories, or you interact with it in the car or something.
Oh, so sometimes we'll be in the car and one of my kids
will
ask
a question
about something, and I'll give my answer, and then they're just like not quite satisfied with it. So I say, okay, and so we go to Claude voice mode, and I'll say, Claude, can you tell my 10-year-old about what was the last one we did? Oh, she's doing a project on Alaska. So I say, can you tell my 10-year-old about why the Alaskan flag has the stars on it? And it goes, sure, and it explains it to her, and she gets a whole different viewpoint from it.
It's excellent.
Jess, have you done that?
I've used chat voice for jokes. My son is like a big jokester, and he's like, he tells the same joke every time. It's giving him some new jokes, and he loves it.
Oh, that's funny.
That's good. That's funny. So how about in your professional world? So I know you guys are a co-pilot school. What are you using it for, and what else are you using?
Yeah, so I'm really using it. Just a little background of school psychology. Basically, what I'm doing is I am assessing students, evaluating students with like a cognitive, an achievement assessment, and then like social emotional behavioral rating scales, observations, whatever. I'm basically trying to figure out an educational classification for students in school. And then I pass them to the IEP team, which then implements the IEP. But with that comes reports, and the reports can be anywhere from 30 pages to 60 pages to 70 pages. So, and we're churning them out like pretty quickly. We have 60 days to complete a report, but the amount of people and students that we are evaluating, we end up getting about 15 days to do the whole thing start to finish. And so I really use it to like proofread, spell check, make sure correct pronouns are happening, make sure, like the data are matching. you do use a lot of templates, right? And so making sure that the numbers that are in the chart are matching the descriptions. And with school psychology comes a lot of jargon. So making sure that the parents can actually understand what they're reading instead of being really intimidated, because sometimes it's not like they're receiving great news, you know? So you want to make it like that they understand, that it makes sense, and that they are like comfortable with the language. I've also changed like non-identifiable things, like not identifiable, what am I trying to say, like if I get teacher input and it says the student's lazy, I change that lazy to being like, this is the observable behavior that they're seeing, to make it like more concrete. I am still pretty careful with it, just because of it's not my kid, and like the privacy with that. So I type my whole report in Word. I'll then copy, control find
the portions, or the
So I'll do different chunks, but then like when I'm doing my whole final review, I'll control find and take out all the names, all the birthdays, all of the like identifiable information, throw it into Copilot. Then when I get the good go ahead, whatever, then I'll put it back into Word, put the names and things back in, and finalize it.
Got it. Is Copilot, do you know, I don't know if you know, my understanding, you know how like people say, like you just said, like we're a Microsoft school or we're a Google school. That means you have like a semi-closed install. Is that right? Like your Copilot is like your Copilot. Same with like Google, like their Geminis or their Geminis. So like you've got, I mean, my guess is that's how software companies are selling AI to school districts, by saying, if you choose us, we'll keep your data safe. We won't let it. Is that sort of what that means, Jess? Is that,
that's what I'm under the assumption in all of.
Okay, good. That's what I was thinking too.
PDs, they actually like really encourage it here. They're saying like, this is a really good tool if you're using it appropriately, and
Copilot.
Use Copilot. Yes, they're very much like, don't use anything else, especially with student information, things like that here. But they are very much like pro Copilot AI. Yeah. For any,
that's interesting.
We have a really big ESL population here. So like even to translating and talking to students in real time,
my memory is that Copilot's not great at that. Is that true?
Well,
is it okay?
It's great, but I am.
Oh, okay. You've been encouraged to use it, whether or not it does the job.
Instead
I was going to ask how your district like feels about it, but it sounds like you guys are.
They're all in. At least on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's interesting because we, in our conversations, both for the podcast and just for our general research, we hear about districts who are either all in, like it sounds like your district is, or the exact opposite of like, we'd want nothing to do with this.
Block.
Exactly. You sound like a chicken. Block.
Whoa, that's going to be a meme.
But so it's interesting to hear that your school is like all in. Can you like, you talked about the PD, them promoting it. What are the kinds of things that they're telling you guys to do? Or I guess what is okay for you guys to do?
Yeah, what are they encouraging?
Yeah, like honestly, a lot more than what I would have guessed or expected. They really are encouraging it from, I know in school psych meetings specifically, it is like for observations when you're observing a kid in the classroom and you're typing like all these notes, just throw all of that in and it'll put an observation in like nice professional terms. They're saying obviously to help with emails. They're saying about like for teachers for worksheets or alternate assignments or, like really a lot. And I think that there's definitely still some hesitancy from talking to like my colleagues and things like that. But there are some people that are fully like in it and they use it and they're loving it.
And does your school also, is it like a magic school or like, is there some sort of learning system that's an AI one? Yeah.
That's a good question. I'm not totally sure as much. Like the only thing that I am like full green light go getting the vibes from is Copilot. But I'm not, because I'm also not in the classroom all the time. I'm not sure what
you may not know.
Right.
So we're tiptoeing up to it / around it, but I'm going to go ahead and like jump us in there. Right. The whole point of this is having people think out loud about what they're doing, but then where their own sort of boundaries lines pop up. And this also might be a good place for you also to jump in, because we haven't asked about obviously the use of AI in your doing your doctorate. Where for you in school, your job, home, right, with kiddos, with family, where are your lines popping up for what's okay, what's not okay, where you're like, ooh, that doesn't feel good?
Mm-hmm. I think the lines definitely change based on like where I'm at. For the doctorate, I was like very scared, and it was like the fear of, this is going to be flagged for the AI, whatever. Although we know that it's not always accurate, but that fear, and I was like, I am not risking this. I want to get my degree, So even if I helped like brainstorm things, that's like the furthest it would be like brainstorming. And then I would really be putting my own work into it. With my personal life, I feel like I'm a lot more free with it. Like I'm sending it pictures and I'm like things like that. There are still like certain things, like obviously I think like things that I wouldn't want on the front of a newspaper or like to be talked about in court, I'm probably not putting like in the chat. But and like some stuff with my kids specifically, just like it doesn't know their full, like their absolute full name, social, birthday, like stuff like that. They know that my son Trip is a 2-year-old kid that probably has a rash or, is but yeah, for that specifically. I also have a daughter, but she's only 11 months old, so they're not hitting all of that stuff yet. It's really more the stuff with Trip. But I use it a lot more freely in my own personal life. And then with work, same thing. I think like obviously want to keep my job. So like I am careful with the stuff that goes in there. I really, really take the identifiable information out of the things. And like I really only do use Copilot. Like I would not go out somewhere else because it's like a restrictive. And yeah, like so I think like those are my lines. The lines definitely shift. And honestly, I think like my information is out there beyond, so like for myself, I'm not that scared. I think that there's some like ethical things where it's like this is right or this is wrong. But in terms of like the privacy aspect, for me speaking on myself, I mean, it's everywhere anyway. So I don't know. I mean, every time you grab the card or, like I feel like I don't,
or the cameras, right? Like
the camera's literally everywhere. So I know that's not maybe a great response, but the lines change depending on where I am.
What I'm so curious too is like you've done 3 years of research on this, so I'm assuming that your line has also moved as you've done the research.
Absolutely. And I was even talking with Matthew about that yesterday. Is like it is scary because although I feel like I have a good like foundation of AI and I'm like comfortable using different things, I'm still the first to be like, but I don't know. There's still so much that I don't know. And I did just do 3 years of it and a whole dissertation on it. And so like knowing or hearing other people like, oh yeah, like AI, I know everything about it. I'm like, you do?
Do you?
like,
Yeah.
I think we've made it very clear a couple times in our like intro for the podcast that Matthew and I are by no means AI experts, and we try and make that very clear to everybody is that we are figuring this out as we go.
Me too.
Like, Jess, have you ever experimented with, I don't know if we've ever talked about this, just you and me either. Have you ever gone down the rabbit hole of like the vibe coding or having it like using co-work or anything like that to like clean up your desktop or anything like that?
My husband jumped 2 feet into Claude with the it's having him, it's like doing I don't know, what is it called? Like a spreadsheet of like just like at house tasks, and he's having it work and connect with all these different things. It's sending him alerts. I was telling he was like building an app based on my dissertation. He was using to help me like do that. So like in terms of the actual do that,
it's your other half.
but me No, the furthest I've really tested it is like the validation piece. I was also telling Matthew this yesterday.
Right.
Like, I'm a little bit sick of being like, you're doing a great job, Jess. Like, no, tell me
Yeah.
what I need to fix. Like, I'm coming to you as like my, you know, co-thinker, and I want to be pushed. Like, don't just be like, you're doing amazing. Like,
So
You're the smartest ever.
oh my god! So before Matthew switched from ChatGPT to Claude, he used to always make fun of me because my Claude was like in love with me.
In love with Sean.
And it took some training for me to get it to stop. And now Matthew's in Claude, and Matthew keeps sending me these screenshots. And I said, Matthew, your Claude is
Loves me.
you.
Yeah, I have broken up with my Chat GPT boyfriend, and I'm going steady with Claude
I love it. I mean, see, time and place.
in a relationship.
Claude, love it. Makes me really think. And like, you know, it asks me those follow-up questions, which I know you know, and I love that. But at the same time, sometimes when it's like you're waiting 3 minutes for a response, I'm like, this is a chat answer. I don't need to think that deep. I just need something.
I need a quick answer. Yeah.
Sean and I have both experienced that same thing, Jess. We were like, come on, AI, go faster. Like, let's go.
Isn't that wild?
Right? Sean, just for kicks, can you share like the one sentence version? Because I want Jess to go say this to her husband, and then I'm going to ask Jess about this later about your lawn app, because I feel like if you tell Jess this and Jess tells her husband this, right? Tell her.
So, Jess, my backyard, I have lots of beautiful trees and bushes and flowers in my front and backyard and a little garden. But I had a couple dead spots where I had to take some trees out. And so I realized, like, oh, you know what? I wish I knew what every single thing was back here so that I could better take care of it and I could fill in the gaps. So I talked through this with Claude, and Claude was like, oh, let's just make a little yard inventory app where now I just go through, snap some pictures of my backyard, it identifies all the plants, it lays it out on a map for me, and it's helping me figure out what to plant in the dead spots.
That is excellent.
And just it was like, I don't know, maybe 2 hours of conversation with Claude before this was done.
Just get ready.
Seriously. No,
it's crazy.
Things where I can't tell my husband because he will.
We're going to have him on, by the way, now that you've said this. Eventually, we're going to be like...
There are some really wonderful Instagram reels out there, like memes of people talking about how Claude is like the third person in their relationship. And
oh, no.
My wife loves to send me those on Instagram.
Sean also built an app of recipes or something.
Oh, I built for my wife a little like meal planning app where you could just snap a quick picture of a recipe, it puts it into a shopping list for her, and she goes to Wegmans and gets the stuff to make dinners, and it's wonderful.
Right.
And it's all, but like the thing is, it's all personalized. Like it's exactly, and then anytime that she's like, "Oh, I wish it would do this," like, okay, easy, let's make it do that.
Mm-hmm.
Done.
Mm-hmm.
Jess, I do want to ask, because you said when we were talking about the line, you said that there were some ethical and moral thoughts that you had about where your line is, and I'm curious if you could, tell us what you think those ethical lines are.
Yeah. So, in my professional world, I'm always keeping that human interaction, human decision making, especially when I'm putting these classifications on these students. There's some classifications that are like, you have a specific learning disability in reading, but then there's other classifications that I'm saying you're emotionally disturbed. And so I don't feel totally comfortable just throwing that, into and to whatever Copilot and being like, give me what this classification is, because there's pieces that go into it after like physically meeting the student and working with the student for whatever 20 hours or whatever it is that obviously I cannot replicate. So I love using it for the fact, like kind of like a multi-purpose, like I obviously want to keep that human interaction and make those decisions based on both the observations of myself and the data without that bias. But also there are some kids that are coming in that are like off the wall ADHD, and I'm like, oh, ADHD, and there goes my bias. So there's also sometimes where it like helps me pull out from the microscope and be like, what else am I not seeing because I'm only focused on this one thing? So the ethical piece there would be like, at the end of the day, I'm the one making the decision. I'm going to be the one that's in there talking to the parents about my decision. And if it ultimately would have ever get to court, I'm going to be the one that has to sit there and talk about why I did this. So anything like that, I have to be able to back it and, you know, like not have it make the decision piece for me. And I think that is the biggest in my professional life.
That reminds me of, we had a guest on who talked about human in, human out, right? Like it has to be, you know, it's still it's your observations going in. It does some analysis for you, but it still is your final decision coming out.
Exactly.
And you're the one, you're the responsible party.
And you're responsible. Yeah.
Exactly.
Jess, this has been fantastic. I know when we go to like pick people, or we go to like, ooh, who would we like to talk to? Jess, you've always been on my list.
Oh.
But we couldn't, right? You were busy.
Oh.
Hold on, Matthew. Dr. Jess.
What? Sorry, you're right. Dr. Taraborrelli, yes. Sorry, Dr. Jess. But no, I love having these conversations. I'm so grateful for you coming and spending time with us. I know you're literally on the job. You're in the moment, right? You've got children and people you've got to go see. But I'm very, 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 very grateful. Very also proud of the work you've done.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me on. And I feel like this only is scratching the surface. Like I feel like anybody can literally talk about this for hours and it still not be enough. So I think your podcast has been great. I've listened to a couple other episodes. I'm so happy to be on it. And, you know, I'm happy to connect you with other people who are in the AI world in different professional settings, because
yes, please.
It's so interesting what you're both doing. And I love it. I get like genuinely interested in the topic and genuinely interested when you're sharing new things with me. I think it's so, so cool.
Well, it's become so clear to us that everyone has a different view of how this is affecting their life and how they are handling it in their life. So Jess, thank you so much for coming on.
Of course,
and for being a wonderful guest for us.
Oh, thanks. Thank you both.
So that was Jess, and that was awesome. I think her dissertation is so interesting. I think the idea of like what's the word? Not a made up technology, but like
hypothesized.
Theoretical technology where to help teachers sort of like preemptively prepare for a student incident, I think is interesting.
It's the reason how she made the case was the components are there. They exist in medicine. They exist in other domains. Someone's just got to go, and it will be in education.
There's a little bit of a what was the movie? Is it Minority Report, where like the people were being arrested for pre-crimes? There's a little bit of like an angle there where I'd be like, oh, that might be a concern to think through still. But I just think the idea of, you know, and the personalized student support as the frame is something I think AI can do well with some consideration.
Yeah. That was a cut through of lots of things that she shared and named. The personalization, the individualization. And when I know how, like you just said, like it can be extrapolated up into the stratosphere and it'd be not great. But whenever I hear Jess talk about it, I don't know why, but I trust it. Maybe it's because it's her background. Maybe it's because I know that she's got she's genuinely curious about this. She wants to know.
Well, she's thoughtful about it. She's handling it with care. She's handling it with care. I mean, she recognized, like I can guarantee you there are school psychologists who are happily putting student names into reports in ChatGPT and just not even thinking about it.
They may not even know.
Yeah, and they don't even know, right? She is being thoughtful about it. I think what's interesting is that her, you know, we had to push for her ethical line a little bit, but I think that her line, at least professionally, was mostly a compliance line, which we've seen before. Of like, my line is
standard.
I think it's my line is based on what I am allowed and not allowed to do.
Like a regulatory.
Yeah.
Not regulatory. What's the word I want? But it's like a bureaucratic.
Yeah.
We all agree that in whatever industries we're in, we don't print our emails and put them out in public. We don't put our internal communications online. It's just like,
Yeah.
not only would no one care, but it's
But
just not okay.
But her personal line seems to be
An interesting.
Yeah. I think about like, my mom is going to kill me for saying this. Sorry, Mom. I know you're listening. Sorry. I had to ask my mom to stop putting pictures on ChatGPT of my kids because she was making like fun pictures, and I was like, I don't want my kids' pictures on ChatGPT.
Yeah, because it will do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know.
Whereas
much less.
Jess was like, oh yeah, I'm putting these pictures in to make watercolors and stuff, which I think is it's a cool use of it.
I mean, one question we could have asked as a follow up, and who knows, maybe this is something we ask when she does come back on, is I think she's probably got a line of what you would take pictures of and not put.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Take pictures of and put up. I'll be honest, it's just a space I don't have kids, but but even in that space, I have not used the visual, how do I say this, component of Claude or of chat, like where here's a picture, do something with it, or here's a picture,
right,
tell me what's whatever. Like my brain doesn't even think that way yet.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, you kind of use that when you built your little library thing, right?
Yeah, but that felt different because it was like these are books. Like what is the process I would do to make my library? Look at it, write it down. Look at it, write it down. Look at it, write it down. I tried last night. FYI, I had in my journal written out a list of everything I'd read in my Kindle and my Audible and my whatnot over the last year and a half, and I've been wanting to get it into my machine to keep it up with my like a database because I just did the library, like you said, and I just ended up recording a quick me reading it out loud, and then I gave Claude the transcript of me reading it out loud, and I said, make this into a table, and it took it 10 seconds because it's just right. That felt okay, right? That felt okay.
Yeah. I think the privacy conversation is it's a strange one for me because, like Jess even said, like my stuff's out there already. I'm on a school district website. I'm obviously not like social security numbers and whatever, but like the stuff's out there. And I don't know, I think back to one of the interviews that we did for our research, not in the podcast, but a research participant
summer.
Yeah, who told us that one of the reasons that they were ethically opposed to using at the time ChatGPT was because they didn't want ChatGPT to benefit from their labor.
Knowledge. Oh, yeah, their work.
Remember their work.
Which feels
like they had spent all this time building up a knowledge base. Yeah. And I feel the same way of like, do I really care that Claude is learning from my interactions with it? I don't know that I care. Or I guess I don't know why to care yet. I'm also not, to be fair, I'm not putting anything crazy private in it. But maybe this is super naive, but I don't know that I worry about like if it looks at an MRI that I have of my my back when I'm getting my back fixed. Am I worried about that? I don't know. I don't think that I am.
This is a good question. I don't know. We spoke about this with Jess. I don't know that I have enough knowledge yet.
Yeah.
My rudimentary understanding, which is still more than many other people that are out there talking about this, of how the technologies work and building upon LLMs. Again, I don't want to get philosophical, but I feel like we have to like go lean on like a Heidegger or something. Like the models are running on large language models, and they're using logic and probability. We are the ones that get enchanted when we see it and we add meaning onto it. Mm-hmm. I don't know that. Like one of the things that people worry about is that the systems will make a judgment on something we've done or take something we've done and remix it. And it's like, sure, but then we are assigning an enormous amount of agency to the tool. Whereas I think there's like a blip, a phenomenological blip, a lived experience where it's not the tool that made the decision. It's the human who saw the output and made a decision to make right. I think there are systems that flatten that. But come back to your point. I have put in like a lecture Or let's go even simpler. I have an idea for a new Substack post. I have an idea for a new article, and I can't get it down. So I grab the phone, I put it on the voice mode, I talk it out. Blah, 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 blah. It's not long, a couple minutes, but it's a couple, 100 words, a couple hundred words. I also don't feel like I own that. I have no idea at that point where the idea came from. Could have come from watching the Muppets, right? Like,
right.
Could be something somebody else has already talked about, and I just am regurgitating it. But I don't have any problems taking that text, throwing it into any AI, and saying, "A, write this up, summarize it, and tell me what I said." Because I don't think it. I think it's sorting zeros and ones in the background very, very quickly. But I don't think it knows. I don't think it understands.
So maybe that's the way to think about it, is like, and part of it is how we have come to form our relationship with AI. Like, am I showing a stranger on the street an MRI of my herniated discs? Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Probably not. But also, like, I also don't know that that it matters. Am I giving a stranger on the street a picture of my child? No. Certainly
That feels...
Certainly not.
The stranger on the street is an interesting line test.
Yeah.
But like stranger on the street, would I give a little mini lecture to a stranger on the street? Sure. What are they going to do?
Yeah. Like, would you share like a Substack idea? Yeah, whatever.
Sure.
And I think like maybe it's because when our relationship with AI is that we are not thinking of it as a stranger on the street necessarily.
I don't think it is. And I think this is where I've said this to you before. We are so fast. We play fast and loose with our language when we talk about these things. You and I do it too, but I'm saying everybody does.
Right.
Like, it gets me. It understands me. I texted you after I ran it through some old, we have had our Claude on the other side of making 5-year plans help us connect with other scholars. We haven't connected with them yet, but Claude's been helping us see connections between other people doing the things we're interested in. And I texted you that paragraph that it wrote up, Sean, and I was like, I feel seen.
You feel like
I feel seen. I do feel seen. I feel like the numbers in the background, the algorithm computed something that when my eyeballs read it and it hit my brain and then my body, I went, ooh, that feels interesting. But I don't think that Claude knows me. Does that make sense?
Well, and it goes back to this: is it the stranger in the street versus like a tool for our use, right? Where I feel like it's not that you feel seen because some other thing is spitting something back to you. I think that your Claude is an extension of your knowledge and your your thoughts, and so it's almost like less I feel seen and more like, oh, I finally have figured out that part of my brain over there, or like or like you're recognizing or re-recognizing a part of your
remembering, literally putting back together of this was play. I mean,
because I think you and I both look at Claude very much as like an extension tool, not as a stranger, not as another thing that we're interacting with. And I think that if we go to the I wrote on Substack this week a lot about communication and how communication is not language always. Sometimes it's an act of gesture, right? It's we are communicating with
our whole selves.
Our whole selves. We're communicating with the trees outside when we listen to the wind blow through them. We are communicating with the birds when we make them run away because we're animals. I don't know that we are communicating with Claude.
Oh, this gets back to Pastor Andrew.
Okay.
Can it speak? Can it write? Remember, he asked, "Can it speak? Can it listen?" Or maybe he helped us think about that. Can it speak?
Right.
I don't.
I want to say yes, but what is it?
Sure.
What's it speaking?
But what's it doing? What's it saying?
Right.
It may, but like you could even speak something. But even if it speaks, can it speak if we don't recognize it as speaking? I don't know how else to ask that without it being a circular question.
Yeah. I don't know, and I feel like I feel like in this conversation now, I'm thinking more that we're not communicating with Claude. We are
agreed.
We are. I don't know what the word is though. There's no language for it, which is why we use phenomenology.
Right. It's a curse. It's a blessing and a curse, Sean. Because how many times have we said, "Oh, here we are at the edge," and we have to sort of either switch over to phenomenological language to get at what it is we're talking about. But then how many times have you texted me on the other side of reading Heidegger and been like, he just said being, beings, being, and a being. And I understand what that means. Right. And I'll say, I know, because we're right up here at the edge of language, and then phenomenological language fails. And then we're like, oh my gosh, but I have to find a way to talk about this or share it or put it into writing so that I can share it with others.
So now to circle back to the privacy thing, privacy like fears and concerns is
right.
If I am not communicating with something, then am I actually sharing?
Oh man,
too much info with it.
Why do you do this?
But then there's another part of it where, like, of course, like it's going into a database and whatever. I don't know.
You know, it would be interesting. You don't have time to do this. You're already doing some dating of scholars. Max Van Manen's piece on childhood secrets. What's the relationship between childhood secrets and our current understandings of privacy and AI is?
Well, where's the line? Isn't his thing that childhood secrets is like it's a thing of independence and of ownership of knowledge, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that's the privacy thing is yourself. Like, and that goes back to our interview participant who it was his knowledge.
Yes.
Right?
It's
his
part of
skill.
Me.
It's part of him.
It's a part
he does
of
not
me.
Want that to be taken from him.
I know, but even that is this culturally situated? Because we live in an independent culture where we believe that people can own ideas. There are others where ideas are shared. No one person owns ideas. And the second you share it with someone by writing it down or saying it out loud, it's shared.
Right.
The idea of ownership of an idea is an objectivist, post-colonial fallacy.
Well, and to your point from our last episode of like the idea of like of the blocks of knowledge,
yes,
where the idea actually come from.
This is my block.
Well, it came from a conversation that I had with Jess and with Matthew, and then is it really my block or is it our block together? And then where did that information come from?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's that simple. But then, of course, when we're trying to figure these things out, we reach for things we know, and we try to apply the things we know to this new context. But things start to fall away or break down.
Yeah.
All right, this is great. I mean,
yeah, I want to explore this further.
We keep doing this.
I want to think further about the privacy thing because I think that is really interesting. Why some people care so much about privacy and some people just do not care at all about privacy. Like, what is that thing? What's that there?
I don't think we will be able to get away from thinking more about that.
Yeah, of course. Well, a fantastic episode. Thank you again to Jess.
Jess is fantastic.
That was awesome. Of course, you can always find all of our information in the show notes. You can find us on Substack and Instagram and now YouTube.
On
top of it, which was new for us. But all those links are in the show notes, and we would love to keep this conversation going with you. So find us in all those various places, and let's keep talking. Thank you all for listening.